Hey guys, Michelle from Michelle's Craft Corner here. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're going to learn how to do this really fun card. This was made with the Beautiful You stamp set and a fun new technique that I'm going to share with you guys, which I'm going to call the ink pad swipe technique. I'm sure it's got a few other names out there, but this is a really fun technique to do something different for your cards. So let's get started. So here's a close-up version of our card today. A lot of really pretty colors in it, and this is a different variation that I did, but I didn't like the colors I picked for this one because they looked so similar you couldn't even tell that was three different colors. So we're going to be doing this one today, although instead of the very vanilla that I used on this one, we're going to be doing the Whisper White instead because I think it'll just pop a little better. So to make this card, you're going to need, course, a piece of Wisteria Wonder paper. Now this is just cut from that stack. We're also going to need our different ink pad colors. Now to get this really awesome background texture, I used 3 different ink pad colors. I used the Wisteria Wonder, so that coordinates with the paper. I used the new Flirty Flamingo and the Sweet Sugar Plum, and I just think they really work very well together. But you can do this technique with any other colors that you like. To stamp Our Lady, also I used the Archival black ink. And then to cut out that fun circle, I used the Circle Framelits, which is just a great set of circles. And for this one, I used the bigger of the smaller set of solid circles. And then, of course, lastly, our Beautiful You stamp set, which is just gorgeous. And this is available in both wood and clear. So just whatever is your personal preference when it comes to your stamps, but it's available in both. And we're going to be using the Dancing Lady, but you could also use either of the other ladies in this set as well. But a great, great set. Okay, you guys got all that? The last thing is I use the Aqua Painter to color her in. But you can use just the markers or another technique if you prefer. But that should be everything. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to take our Whisper White. Oh, I forgot to mention Whisper White paper. Other thing you need. Everything will be listed in the comments with direct product links. So we're going to take 2 pieces of the Whisper White and cut it at 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then one of them we're going to go ahead and run through the Big Shot with that circle. And I ran it through about in the center to give us that nice hole. So the other piece is going to be our background piece. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our fun design first. So you always start with your lightest color and go from light to dark. So let me move this over here. So open our ink pads. Now when you have your ink pad open, you have 2 sides. You have the side that has the ink pad closest to the edge and the one that's a little further away. So generally when doing this technique, it's going to be easier if you pick this side that's closer. You'll have a little more control over it. Alright? So you're going to take that and flip it over. And you're going to start on one side and holding your ink pad at about a 45-degree angle, you're going to swipe it across. Now, depending on how hard you press and where you lift, it'll give you those different lines and textures. If you don't like it, you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So here we go. We're going to start here. We're just going to give it some swiping. And see where I stop, where I start is where I get those streaks. But if you want it solid, you can just, if I can hold it, there we go, hold it, and swipe it straight across to give it a solid look. Let's switch sides here and just hold it and pull. And so just depending on how hard you press down, shows how much ink is going to be on there. Let me move my light a little, it's a little brighter here. There we go, okay. So just basically add as much or as little as you want with your base color. Now it is better if your base color is a little darker so it'll show through. Okay. I'm going to switch to my next color, which is the Sweet Sugar Plum, which is my personal favorite from this set of ink colors. Okay, yet again, holding it at that angle, which I know is kind of hard to see in the video. Just doing little, oh, sorry if I'm shaking the camera. Oh, trying not to. There we go. See, just like that. So just depending on how hard you press and where you add the ink, you'll get a totally different look every time. It's such a fun background. See that? Which I mean, it's kind of cool just like that. But I'm going to go ahead and add that last color, the Wisteria Wonder. And I just really liked the look of having at least one of the colors be my base cardstock color, just to kind of make it coordinate. So there we go. So you can see it looks totally different from this other one that I did, but still equally awesome and cool. So just depending on what ink pads you pick and your amount of pressure, you'll get a very different look every time. All right, so now that we've got that, I'm going to go ahead and take our extra piece, the Whisper White. Let's see, it lines up just like that. We're going to go ahead and grab our lady from the Beautiful You set, our dancing lady right there. And this is the wood mount, but it's also available in clear. And our archival ink. Oops, get the sticky note off. And because we know the circle is about in the center, you don't really need it for a guide. We're just going to take it off and stamp her in the center. Just like that. Straight up. So there is our lady. And now to color her in, and I used the Wisteria Wonder yet again, but you could do any of the other colors, and you give the ink pad a little squeeze, and that puts some ink right there on that lid. Then we're going to take our Aqua Painter, which this comes in a set of 2, so 17 bucks gets you 2 of these, and they just last forever. They're awesome, but it's 2 different sizes. I can't even tell you which size this is. My other one's somewhere over there. Anyway, so when I use the Aqua Painter, I like to wipe it off till it's pretty dry. And I just use a scrap of paper or the back of my hand. That keeps the paper from getting too saturated with it, because if it's really sloppy wet, then you'll have those wet marks on your paper. So I'm just going to grab some of that ink and then just color her in. Just pulling that ink across her dress. So you can see watercoloring quick and easy with the Aqua Painter. Because you're going for that watercolor effect, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Looks like I smudged this paper earlier, but our circle is going to cover it. So there we go. Close that up. We can stick this right on top and just kind of see. Now, if you're worried about some of that white showing up, depending on where you stamped it, you can always trim this out, make it just a little smaller so that white isn't poking through when you glue it down. So I'm going to grab my snail real quick. Just add some around the edge. Layer it down. So you can just see this is just a very quick and easy card. If any of your white is peeking through, you can just trim that up. I'm going to grab my Wisteria card base. Line up, oh, and you can see I did go over the edge a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to glue that down. Just like that. Wonderful. Which is pretty just like that, but I added one of the sentiments from the set. So I just cut a scrap of Whisper White, and this is at 1 inch by 2 inch, so just a tiny little scrap. It's generally easier if you stamp and then trim, but you can go either way. And let's do the Life Looks Beautiful on You. So that's a really nice one from this set. So I'm going to grab, actually I think I'm going to do the Sugar Plum for the word on this one. Just ink that up and stamp it on there. Wonderful. There you go. Now another tip that I did on this one, which you may or may not be able to see, is I just took the ink pad and I pressed the edge of the paper into the ink pad. Just give it a little nice natural border. And if you're going white on white, it kind of adds just a little border edge. Let's add some snail to that. You could also do a dimensional if you prefer. And just glue it down. So quick, easy, simple. You can add some bling, you could add some ribbon, but just a fun use of that background. So I'm going to show you a couple others that I did with this. So this one, yet again, was the Sugar Plum, the Flirty Flamingo, and the Wisteria for this background. And here's another one that I did, but you know, as I said before, you can't really tell the 3 different colors in here. Where did I put my note? But this one was with Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, and Emerald Envy, and they didn't quite, and this is on Pool Party paper, but just didn't quite show up well enough. The other one I wanted to show you with this technique, and this was one I was originally going to do the video on, but then in making these samples I liked these more. So this is another one. This was from a recent class, and so this is just that ink pad, just straight drag, and going a little darker on one side. Now this technique is a little easier on the old cloth ink pads, but it works just as well on the new foam ones as well. But this one was in the Island Indigo. It just kind of looks like rain, but I thought this was a little too melancholy, so I wanted something a little happier and springier. And then this is another one that I made. And this one is with the Dapper Denim. Same thing, this is just the straight swipe. So lots of wonderful options. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Feel free to share your pictures on my blog post and let me know what you think. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.